Hey, welcome to Postpartum Reframed, your guide to biblical joy. On this podcast, I'll discuss about the who, what, why, and hows of cultivating and practicing biblical joy in the first year postpartum. I'm your host, Kendall. I'm a wife and mama to 4 amazing children who you may hear in the background sometimes of this podcast. By the grace of God, I have overcome postpartum depression, rage, and anxiety by daily leaning into the strength that comes purely from His joy. Now I'm passionate about helping other moms do the same so that even in the hard moments of postpartum, it can still be seen as a joy-filled experience. This podcast is available on YouTube as well as various podcast players. You can find the full show notes in the description of anywhere that you are listening, and if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Now let's dive into today's episode. Today I am talking about 4 ways to manage the overwhelm with multiple kids postpartum. But first, I do want to mention that if you're having a hard time getting started and intentionally having biblical joy postpartum, I've put together a free postpartum mini reset where an audio file of 3 minutes or less is sent to you for 3 days, guiding you on how to take the next step forward so that you can start your journey towards having a biblically joyful postpartum and life. The link for that is in the show notes. So let's go ahead and get started with step 1, and that is to plan ahead. And what I mean by this is think about the different things that maybe have triggered you and caused you to either feel frustrated or to feel angry or to yell at your kids. And visually think about those things, and instead of causing yourself to feel guilty and oh no, I messed up, just look at it factually and think about, how do I envision myself ideally responding to this? And if you have no clue, because I've definitely been in those spots too, where it's how do I even respond to this situation? What is the right thing? Then that's where I highly encourage you to just take it to God and pray over it, and He will guide you. Also, you can write this stuff down in addition to visualizing it. Then you can also write it down and write down a specific situation where you feel like you messed up and didn't handle it the right way. Then write down what happened, and then write down how you want to respond moving forward. And then step number 2 is turn off all extra noise. So say it's the middle of the day and there's just a lot of noise, which if you have multiple children, that's just the typical environment. And so sometimes it can get overwhelming, if you haven't had enough sleep. Then just turning off any extra noise, whether it's the TV or music, whatever it is that's going on, just turn it all off, and then quietly lower your voice. And sometimes that can help your kids lower theirs. For my kids, it goes either way. Sometimes it either makes them excited and they get louder, or they will quiet their own voices. But I try and make it so that it's fun for them, so that they're more willing to turn their volume down, and it'll usually last for a few minutes. And then the next thing is, if everyone is melting down at the same time, sometimes it's hard to know, what do you even do in those situations? Who do you help first? And how I treat those situations is like a triage. And usually I'll look at each child and I'll see who is in the most need right now. And typically I'll just go youngest to oldest unless one of the older ones really has a higher need. But that's kind of how I look at it. And then I just try to breathe my way through it. And I'll also be Lord, please help me during this, as I'm breathing. And I just try to look at the situation as factually as possible and try to emotionally disconnect as much as possible, just so that I'm not getting caught up in my children's emotions. And then that allows me to help each one of them, get them situated, and then I'll kind of go back through everyone just to make sure that I met all of their needs and that they don't need anything else. And then the last thing is to connect sometimes things can get overwhelming because we haven't connected enough with our children. And maybe you're like, well, I'm with them all day long. Like if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're like, I'm with them all day long. How much more connection do they need? And there is a big difference between being with someone and actually connecting with them. You can be with someone all day long and not connect one time. And so make sure that you're actually connecting with them. And if you haven't been, then, that's okay. Just say, hey, let's do like a board game, or let's read a book together. Let's watch a video together. Whatever it is that makes you feel connected to your kids, do something like that with them. And you'll just see their little faces light up. And if you haven't been the best at connecting, that could be why, like, if you see any negative behavior come out, or any like bad attitudes come out, a lot of negative behavior will come out because they're not feeling connected in some way. And so if you're seeing a lot of that, especially in the postpartum season where they may feel less connected because your focus is usually more so on the baby and you're trying to heal, so you can't quite do all the things that you usually can, then they might feel less connected in those moments. So just intentionally thinking like, okay, how can I connect with them, or either organically throughout the day or intentionally by sitting down and playing a game or allowing them to help me cook, that kind of thing. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Postpartum Reframed podcast today. If this helped, encouraged you, or you have a question, please take a few moments to comment, leave a review, or share it with another mama who could benefit from this type of content. Let's create a world where women can have a joy-filled postpartum together. And if you're ready to move from survival mode to biblical joy today, click the link in the show notes to grab my free 3-day mini reset, Reframing Postpartum. It's designed to help you shift your perspective and find peace in just 3 days. You'll also join our email community for weekly encouragement every Tuesday. I'll see you next Friday.